Hello guys, my name is Sheikh Mohammed Fawaz. I'm studying in Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering. I'm currently pursuing my engineering in artificial intelligence in 5th semester. Today we'll be discussing a topic in computer networks, that is OSI model. So in this PPT we will be learning what is OSI model, the services provided by the OSI model, the different layers present in the OSI model. So, OSI reference model is an international standard network architecture. OSI stands for Open System Interconnection, deals with open systems and and it is required for communication between two systems. So, OSI model has basically 7 layers. So we'll be studying each and every layer here. So we have at the topmost layer we have the application layer through which our applications run. Then we have the presentation layer, then sessions layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and the physical layer. So all these layers are responsible for the data transfer as well as communication between two devices. So the first layer, let's discuss about the first layer. The application layer is the topmost layer and the lowest is the physical layer. The three layers, that is layer 1, 2 and 3, are responsible for the communication subnet or establishing a connection between the two hosts or the systems. The layers 1 to 4 are for the communication technology, 5 to 7 are related to user application based. So here we are going to study everything. For example, uh, let's start with the seventh layer, that is the application layer, at which applications access network services, represent services that directly support software applications. In this, directly a user from application UI is trying to access the network features. So this is application layer. For example, the file transfer, database access, and electronic emails. Then we have the presentation layer. Presentation layer is responsible for presenting the data. So it basically is used to translate the data into different representations or forms into a uniform standard way. So next we have providing services for data encryption as well as data compression. Um, then we have the session layer, allows two applications on different computers to establish, use and end a session. That is basically, it is used for example, whenever a user logins to a website, right, he is given with a session key or a session where he alone himself he can access the website. So during that session only he and the communicating host is responsible for the communication. There is no intervention of a third person into the session. So it is responsible in establishing dialog control, regulates which site transmits plus when and how long it transmits, performs token management and synchronization. Then at the fourth level we have the transport layer. Transport layer is responsible for packaging of long messages and necessary packets from one end to end. Basically, transport layer is responsible for end-to-end communication between two devices. It handles all the errors that occur in the presentation layer, translates transportation layer at the receive, now acknowledges packet delivered, resends the missing packages. Okay, then now we have the third layer, that is the network layer. So it is a higher abstraction of the transport layer. Then it manages the addressing. For example, over the TCP protocol, it is over the IP internet protocols where for example, we have a packet, right, and to whom it needs to be sent is managed by the network layer. Let's take a real world example. For example, you have written a email for a person with his email ID. So each email ID is given to a particular DNS system where his identity is given, or a particular IP address is given to a particular person. So what it does is it translates the email ID into the IP address and sends the email to the corresponding route where the IP is found. So here what happens is addresses messages and translates logical addresses and names it into physical addresses, determines the route from the source to the destination computer, manages traffic problems such as switching, routing, and controlling the congestion of data packets. So routing can be based on two things, that is static tables as well as the dynamic tables. It can be it is determined at the starting of the each session. What happens basically is without the proper session, the data or the network layer, there are two types. There is connection oriented as well as connectionless route. In connection oriented, there is a virtual circuit that is prior established before sending the packets through the communication channel or the routers present in between. Whereas in over connectionless, the routers are present in a scattered way. The route is not defined. It chooses a random path and it avoids congestion for loss of packets. And the major disadvantage with the connectionless is it doesn't have any acknowledgement base, or if the packages are lost, there is no mode of recovery for it. Then we have the data link layer. It is a packaging of raw bits from the physical layer into the frames. So what we do basically is these packets are converted into frames by using framing knowledge. So provided it waits for the once a frame is sent between one host to the other host over a communication channel, it waits for acknowledgement till the frame is received at the host computer. Then we have the physical layer. The physical layer transmits bits from one computer to another, regulates the transmission of the stream of bits over a physical medium, defines how a cable, for example, the physical layer, it can be either two ways, it can be a coaxial cable or LAN cable or etc. So what it basically does is it establishes a physical connection between the host system as well as the host, the sender and the receiver. Here we can see the internet protocol versus the OSI. The internet protocol was a prior model which was used, that was Indian standard, in ISO standard. Now we have divided the applications, presentation and session layer into the three layers, instead of a single application layer. Transportation layer is TCP and the network is divided into a TCP into the IP. Then the data link is network interference and physical is hardware. Services in the OSI model, each OSI model, each layer provides a basic service to the above layer. So what happens basically is each layer is individually acting on itself. So it is easy to debug as well as identify the root cause what is happening. It is better efficient than the prior internet protocols. So we can understand with this diagram the layers provided as well as the service provided to each of the layer. Then, like we discussed, the connection type, the connection oriented and connectionless service. Then we need something called QoS, that is quality of service, which is majorly required by the data. And like we discussed with reliability also, with connection oriented and connectionless oriented. Connection oriented is highly reliable in compared to connectionless, but in scaling and fast rate of transmission, connectionless is very fast. Then I hope you understood about the topics in OSI model. Thank you.